I'd like to thank all of you for your presence today, your input, your insights and your commitment. I'd also like to thank the Improvement and Transformation team, and in particular Kezia, who put today's event together. And I think we've had some great conversations, and that's really great. So when the new administration took over the leadership of the County Council in May, we made it clear that we were committed to making improvements for Hertfordshire's children with special educational needs and disabilities, for parents who are fighting to get the best for their children, and for the schools and professionals who are working to meet those needs. As Christine Lenihan said this morning, and she said it much better than I can, we all recognise that the national system for providing support for children with SEND needs to change. She told us not to say it was broken, but certainly to recognise that there's a significant need for change. But despite massive investments, outcomes for children haven't improved since the current system was introduced around 10 years ago. And the objective was clearly to deliver better outcomes for children. That's what it should all be about. So I'm looking forward to the promised white paper, which I hope will deliver some real improvements in the system under which Hertfordshire and indeed every other council in the country has to work. I hope that it will set out how the system can be changed to ensure that as many children as possible can have their needs met in properly supported mainstream schools, and with the necessary resources provided to meet the needs of all those children for whom that's not appropriate to have their needs met in special schools. But even if the white paper comes up with proposals that would deliver what children with SEND need, it could take years. And some of us, I know, have concerns about whether or not it will ever be delivered. And that just makes it even more important that we don't keep Hertfordshire's children waiting. So the new administration at the Council is committed to doing the very best we can within the national system we have, whilst accepting that there are some limits on what we are going to achieve because of the nature of that system. Now, we recognise that staff have been working really hard to do just that, and that there have been improvements for many children and parents and schools, but that there are some who have not seen those changes, and that there is much more to be done. So we need to go a lot further than we've gone so far, and today's SEND Summit is the first step in that process. We set it up because we wanted to engage with everyone, or at least representatives of everyone, because we couldn't fit everyone in the room, with representatives of everyone involved in SEND in Hertfordshire, whether that be children, parents, schools, professionals, teachers. I don't mean teachers aren't professionals by that, I mean professionals other than teachers, and partners including the NHS. And today we've got people from all those parts of the county together and listened and shared and challenged one another. And most importantly, people have come together and talked. And from the voices of parent carers and educators to health professionals, social workers, young people, it's been a testament to the power of partnership and communication. Now, we began this morning with a clear message that SEND is a top priority for the current administration at the Council. We've heard about the progress made from the SEND Academy, the Neurodiversity Hub, expanded school places and strengthened cooperation. But I've just acknowledged, and we do acknowledge that challenges remain. We've heard that we need to communicate better, both with parents and with schools. And I went to the workshop on communication and we had a great discussion. And then I went to the workshop on early provision and we had a great discussion, which very largely was about communication. And I think that's perhaps something that we should take on board. But we've also heard that parents can find it very difficult to navigate the system and to know what's happening for their child, and that's enormously frustrating. We've heard about the concerns about the time it takes to meet a child's need once we've identified them. So there are many challenges, but I think that what we've all seen today, I think offers real hope. It's hope in the form that it's confirmed that we have educators who are committed to delivering for children, in parent carers who will advocate tirelessly for their children, young people who speak with courage, clarity and conviction, and hope in the form of a partnership that refuses to settle for good enough, and a recognition that all of us involved in SEND in any way want the best outcomes for the children and young people. No one is doing this for any other reason. So what next? The ideas shared in the workshops and the feedback gathered and the connections made will shape our plans and our strategy. And that strategy will not be written in isolation. It'll be co-produced, co-owned and co-delivered. Now, some of you will be disappointed to hear that I'm not going to give you a list of actions that we're going to take tomorrow or next week. But that's quite deliberate, because today is about listening to what people have to say. And if we'd come along with a plan of what we were going to do immediately afterwards, that would have not provided us with an opportunity to reflect on what you've said today. And it's important that we do that. Because today was about listening and taking on board what people said, so we can make real changes that reflect what you've told us. But I do hope that we will announce some plans to make some of the changes that you have suggested within weeks rather than months. And we will still, and we will provide more opportunities and invite and welcome your continued input, because the voice of everyone in this room and the people that you represent across the rest of Hertfordshire matters. We need to remember that every child deserves to thrive. Every family deserves to be heard, and every professional deserves to be empowered. No single person, service, or organisation can deliver the changes that we need to make alone. It's only through shared responsibility and collective action that we will truly improve the outcomes for children and young people with SEND in Hertfordshire. So I'd just like to finish by thanking you once again for your contribution to what you've made today. I hope that we have together taken an important step to improve the lives of children and indeed their families in Hertfordshire with SEND. Thank you for your input, and I hope you've all had a good day. Thank you very much.